2013, I am going through some of the best movies for every year that I have been alive. In the year 2013, I was 23.
Will's doing it.
And I know this is not every movie that came out in 2013, but just some of my favorites, the ones that stick out to me. The ones I forgot, please leave them down below. Let's start off 2013 with Prisoners. This movie was very, very good. I really enjoyed it. You have Hugh Jackman being a really troubled father who lost his children have been kidnapped, and he's just doing whatever he can to get them back. You have Paul Dano playing a very strange character where he's kind of a somewhat mute and maybe a little has a little bit of mental disabilities, and he's put through hell in this movie because they think he did it, and technically I think he did, but he kind of it's not his fault, not his idea, kind of thing. And you have Jake Gyllenhaal playing the cop investigating this thing, and he has a lot of emotion and really is invested in this case. Very scary. I can't even imagine having my children abducted and not having any idea where they are and having to just live with that. That seems like I can't imagine. But this movie is very suspenseful, a really great crime thriller. You at the end you're like, oh my god, they who done it, and it's just really, really well done. If you haven't seen Prisoners, go check it out. Next up, we have Martin Scorsese doing probably one of his best, Wolf of Wall Street. Obviously, Goodfellas is classic, all this thing, but this is a little bit different, has a little more style to this, I think. And you have Leo just playing the real life Jordan Belfort, who is a guy who this is all kind of based on, which is insane that this all really happened in real life. You have Jonah Hill playing his his wingman, his second man guy in command. Really great cast all the way through. Margot Robbie, this is one of her first big movies. She has some scenes in this that are incredible. I'll just say that. Absolutely incredible. That's all I could say. Leo just, controls this movie. The amount of dialogue he just spits and just the tone he brings to it, and just amazing all the way through. It's a pretty long movie. You kind of see him go from where he is to where he ends up and the ups and downs of his life. And it's just one of those movies you're just watching and you're just like, dang, some of this really happened? That's crazy. You can't imagine it happening. Obviously not today. This was in the 80s and 90s and stuff where it's just like, whoa, different times. Going to another Leonardo DiCaprio-led film, we have The Great Gatsby. This is Baz Luhrmann doing his take on The Great Gatsby, the classic book we all had to read in school. You have Leo, who's playing the Gatsby, the titular Gatsby. You have Tobey Maguire playing a meek little, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm swept up in the world of Gatsby. Oh my gosh. And he's also kind of the narrator through where, kind of watching the movie through his eyes. And you have Carey Mulligan playing the lost love of Gatsby, and he has to find. I'm sure it's very similar to the book. I honestly never read it. I've just seen this movie. But you have the insanely stylized world that Baz Luhrmann is just his thing. We have more modern day. I think there's some Jay-Z tracks in this movie. Obviously not around in that era, but they put some big horns behind it, and it's obviously just a really fun time. Leo he's so dang talented. Every time he's in something, you're just like, man, that guy can act. And he just brings something to it, and a classiness and all this kind of things that he brings to Gatsby that you can't put a finger on, and you can't think of anyone else who could ever play that character. He does such a good job. And Baz Luhrmann's style just really brings it all home. The bigger than life, the crazy parties they have in the movie, all this stuff, it's just Baz Luhrmann just doing his thing, and I appreciate it. Next up, a bit of a slower, smaller film, but still very poignant today. We have Her. Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with an AI that he listens to in his ear. It's like, you see that, and even having all the stuff with ChatGPT and all this stuff now where there was a whole controversy about how they pretty much made it sound like Scarlett Johansson, and Scarlett Johansson was like, what the heck? And they had to remove it and change it up a little bit because it's still not exactly like it is in Her, where he can have full on back and forth for a long time conversation. It does a pretty good job, but it's pretty impressive, obviously, but it's not there yet. But this is as slow as it's going to be. It's going to only get better as time goes on. So you honestly could have someone falling in love with a person who's not actually real. They're just, you say something, they say something back to you. But this movie is actually really, really well done and beautiful. And it's a futuristic movie that is a very grounded futuristic movie. It's not there's no flying cars and crazy, fashion. Everyone kind of dresses similar to today, but maybe a little more monochromatic a little bit. But they have computers that still have screens. They still like do things that are like we do today, just like a little bit heightened with some futuristic stuff. And like we have AirPods. Like I wear my AirPods every single day, and he has just an AirPod in most of the time, talking to his like phone that has like the AI built into it. I'm like, hello, that's kind of what we got working on right now. So it's a very interesting movie that kind of like is very poignant, especially today nowadays, because with AI the way it's going, it's just very, very interesting. Joaquin Phoenix is great. Scarlett Johansson is the voice of the AI, and you really buy their chemistry. In your head, you're like, how could anyone ever fall in love with an AI? It's like hearing those conversations. They really get to know each other as best you can. It's really well done. Go check it out if you have not seen her. On the animation side of things, we have Frozen came out this year. Let It Go was the biggest song of forever. My God, you couldn't go 10 feet without hearing it or it being referenced to. It was a juggernaut. This movie was huge. They had a second one, Frozen 2, which had its own, good songs, whatever, but never lived up to the heights of the first one. You have Adina Menzel, Adele Dazeem, as I like to call her, obviously killing it because she's so dang talented. And Kristen Bell is playing the sister, also very talented. And this has some, you have Olaf. Who doesn't like Olaf, I guess, I'm okay with him. But just the songs in this it's just great. You can't beat them. They just do such a good job. Disney Pixar just always has a really good, like, kind of concept, and they just kind of build on top of that concept with really great songs. They got the best in the biz doing them, so how could they not be good? And for our last movie of 2013, we're going to make a really, really hard left turn into some zombie action with World War Z. Brad Pitt is a special forces-esque kind of guy, and there's some sort of zombie virus that goes out there. There's some scenes in this movie that stay in my head, like him counting how long it takes from when the person's bit to when they start reanimating as a crazy zombie and then just full out sprinting towards you. So all that stuff was very interesting. How it literally is like a actual virus, like they have a full-on fever and then they kind of burn their brain out and they just become a mindless zombie, and how they just crawling over each other. Like there was having the pile of zombies visually is pretty insane. But then also it being like a virus. So then when, spoilers I guess, but Brad Pitt infects himself with different viruses or something that are curable, that he was then able to like pretty much like walk around zombies and they wouldn't attack him because they could tell he was like infected with disease, because they wouldn't want to eat him. So it's just a really interesting. I think it's based on a book. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I didn't read it. I don't read very much. I watch movies, but I'm sure the world is much more built out because you can do that in the book. But this is kind of showing you probably a little sliver. But really, really fun, interesting concepts. Of course, any time zombies are sprinting, running at you, it's crazy. It's just like that. Like everything wouldn't be like just over in like a day with all that carnage. But World War Z, great entry to like the zombie lexicon. So 2013, really, really good year for movies. If you like this, I have a playlist going from all the years I've done, so 1990 all the way up to today. If you could please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Follow me on Letterboxd. I love posting my reviews there, and I love making these. I hope you guys enjoy watching them. What was your favorite movie of 2013? Please leave it down below. Have a good one.